body of missing 18-year-old pregnant woman found in Rehoboth. She was only 18 years old, a recent graduate with her whole future ahead of her, and she was about to become a mother. But what began as a hopeful new chapter ended in tragedy. For nearly 2 weeks, family, friends, and an entire community searched desperately for Kylie Montero after she vanished under mysterious and frightening circumstances. Her last words to a friend were haunting. "I don't feel safe." Today, we uncover the heartbreaking story of how her disappearance gripped the nation, the shocking discovery that followed, and the disturbing truth hiding in plain sight. This is the case of the missing pregnant teenager from Rehoboth, and the devastating and no one wanted to believe. The disappearance and death of 18-year-old Kylie Montero is a devastating story that has gripped Massachusetts and captured national attention. Kylie was a young woman on the verge of adulthood, a recent high school graduate who had just begun to envision her future. She was not only preparing for the responsibilities of independence, but also for motherhood, as she was about 11 weeks pregnant at the time she vanished. Her pregnancy, something she had looked forward to with excitement, added another layer of tragedy to the case. Family and friends described her as someone who dreamed of being a mother, already picking out names and imagining life with her baby. That dream was tragically cut short when she went missing on August 7, 2025, setting off a nearly 2-week search that ended in heartbreak. The day she disappeared, Kylie was last seen near County Street in Rehoboth, an area connected to her boyfriend, 22-year-old Gregory Groom. According to reports, the two had argued that day, and Groom later claimed she had left after the fight. But troubling details quickly emerged. Before she vanished, Kylie had texted a friend that she didn't feel safe, and that something's not right. For her loved ones, these words became haunting clues, a cry for help that tragically foreshadowed what was to come. Her family knew her well enough to understand that she would never have chosen to disappear voluntarily. Kylie was described as timid and inexperienced at being on her own, someone who was deeply attached to her support system. Her sudden silence set off alarm bells immediately. When Kylie failed to return home or respond to messages, her family contacted authorities. From the start, her disappearance was treated as suspicious due to the circumstances, her vulnerable state as a pregnant teenager, and the disturbing text messages she had sent before going missing. Police launched an intensive search, calling in every available resource. Helicopters hovered overhead, while drones scanned fields and woods. K-9 units combed through brush and swampy areas. Divers searched nearby water bodies while ATVs and ground teams moved through dense terrain. The scope of the search highlighted how seriously law enforcement was taking the case. Volunteers from the community also pitched in, showing how deeply people cared for Kylie even if they did not know her personally. During this time, her family made public pleas for information, speaking emotionally about Kylie's character and how much she was loved. They urged anyone with even the smallest tip to come forward. A GoFundMe campaign was started, initially to help with search-related expenses and later to prepare for the possibility of funeral costs. The community rallied around the Montero family, offering food, financial support, and prayers. The story was covered by local and national media, and many across the country began following updates anxiously, hoping the young woman would be found alive. Meanwhile, Groom came under growing suspicion. He had reported Kylie missing on the same day she disappeared, but investigators began to piece together troubling allegations. Authorities revealed that on August 6th, just one day before she vanished, Groom had allegedly assaulted Kylie. He was soon charged with aggravated assault and battery on a pregnant person, domestic assault and battery, and intimidation of a witness. These charges pointed to a pattern of abuse and coercion, painting a dark picture of the relationship. The revelation that Kylie had told her friends she did not feel safe only reinforced concerns that she had been in immediate danger in the days leading up to her disappearance. For nearly 2 weeks, the search continued with growing urgency. Friends, family, and volunteers held on to hope, but many also feared the worst. Candlelight vigils were planned, not only to pray for Kylie's safe return but also to show solidarity and to keep her story alive in public attention. The community's collective grief and hope became visible in these gatherings, with people singing, praying, and holding signs with her name. On August 19th, the search reached its tragic conclusion. Investigators, armed with a search warrant, descended on Groom's property at 107 County Street in Rehoboth. Using heavy machinery to dig and carefully examine the land, they discovered human remains consistent with those of Kylie Montero. The property where she was found belonged to Groom, the same man who had first reported her missing. The discovery confirmed the worst fears of her family and community, turning a missing persons case into a homicide investigation. Authorities quickly announced that Groom would now face a murder charge in addition to the earlier assault and battery charges. The discovery devastated Kylie's family. Her sister Faith, who had spoken out frequently during the search, said Kylie's disappearance had been completely uncharacteristic and she had always believed something sinister was involved. Now, their worst suspicions had been confirmed. Friends described Kylie as someone who had been excited about her future, especially about becoming a mother, and they mourned not only her loss but also the unborn child she had been carrying. For them, the grief was doubled, as 2 lives had been stolen. In court, Groom was held without bail as prosecutors prepared a murder case against him. His arrest and the discovery of Kylie's body shocked many who had been following the case, though for some, it confirmed suspicions that had been forming since the beginning. The fact that she was found buried on his property added an element of chilling betrayal to the story, as the place where she should have been safe instead became the site of her final moments. The case has sparked broader conversations about domestic violence and the warning signs that are often overlooked. Kylie had directly told her friends she did not feel safe, a statement that in hindsight carried enormous weight. Advocates for domestic abuse survivors have pointed to her story as an example of why it is crucial to listen carefully to young women and provide them with protection and resources when they express fear. The tragedy also raises questions about how society can better safeguard vulnerable women, particularly those who are pregnant and in potentially abusive relationships. For the Rehoboth community, Kylie's death is a loss that will not be forgotten. Vigils and memorials have been planned, with friends and family gathering to celebrate her life and grieve her death. Her story has been widely shared, both as a tribute to her and as a cautionary tale about the dangers of domestic violence. In the weeks and months to come, as legal proceedings against Groom move forward, Kylie's family will likely face a long and painful journey through the court system. Still, many in the community are determined to ensure her memory lives on, not only in the hearts of those who loved her, but also in broader efforts to protect other young women from suffering the same fate. The death of Kylie Montero represents the tragic end of a life filled with potential. She was a young woman stepping into adulthood, preparing to bring new life into the world, and she should have had years ahead to build her future. Instead, her life and that of her unborn child were cut short by violence. Though the pain of her loss is immeasurable, the love and support shown by her community provide a glimmer of light in the darkness. Her story is a heartbreaking reminder of the fragility of life and the importance of protecting those most vulnerable. As her family prepares to say their final goodbyes, many will continue to fight for justice in her name, ensuring that her voice and her memory are never forgotten.